Welcome to our webinar, Klika, the present and future of IoT, Insider's View. Today we will look at the world of IoT, its trends and opportunities. Our speakers will also present some interesting projects and solutions of Klika Tech. I'm handing over to our speakers and they will introduce themselves.
I'll start. Gennadiy Borisov. I'm one of the co-founders of Klika Tech, located in our headquarters in Miami. And I'm happy to be here with one of my friends and colleagues, Joseph Zaloker, please.
Joseph Zaloker. I'm head of global alliances and enterprise accounts. I've been with Klika Tech for right around 6 months. Prior to coming into this position, I ran the AWS IoT partner network over at AWS for 5 years, fundamentally growing that partnership community from a handful of partners over 350. And prior to that, I worked at Arrow Electronics, also started their M2M and IoT strategy. So have a fair amount of expertise and credibility in the space, and happy today to share a lot of our insights, some of the exciting work that we're doing, and even the more exciting future for us moving forward.
Thank you, Joseph. And as Yuri said, what we would like to talk about today is future, present, and future of IoT, and some of the interesting and exciting projects we've taken to market. And probably one of the first questions you would like to ask or have been asking yourselves is IoT mainstream enough? Is it mainstream today? What do ordinary people think when it comes to IoT? And I think that we can say that things are mainstream, or things are getting or becoming part of our today's lives, is when people joke about things, just like that, crude joke I made about COVID-19. It is a part of our lives. So how do we know that IoT is actually here? I think it's actually here when people make memes about it. And this is a meme I've seen recently. Somebody played a joke on his or her coworkers. They've taken a regular coffee machine, set its voice activated, and then posted it online saying that it's been best 3 hours of someone's life watching their coworkers trying to work the coffee machine via voice when it's not voice activated. I can only imagine what would happen in one of our offices if something like this would happen, but most likely our team would then reprogram this machine and actually add the voice control to it. So moving from memes to the actual reality of IoT, Joseph, I'll ask you to lead here, and let's talk about where IoT is today.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So one thing I would say is, again, as I've been in this space, for well over 20 years, from it being SCADA systems, M2M, Internet of Things, Internet of Everything, industrial internet. It's had a lot of names and a lot of monikers associated with it. And, also when you took a look early days, like back in 2011, when I ran one of the first 7-city M2M seminars ever in the world, it was interesting that the numbers and the projections were 50 million connected devices, I believe, by 2020. Hans Vestberg, who's now the CEO of Verizon, had coined that at one of the trade events. And it was an interesting thing how the industry and the analysts kind of stuck onto that. And if we think today in terms of like all the number of connected devices that we all possess, not only on our person, but also in our family, in terms of phones, mobile devices, tablets, PCs, things in our car, streaming music, et cetera, we certainly are driving towards, the adoption that, the industry has been predicting for a long time. With a lot of different trends, these things take longer than you're supposed to. But I will say, again, being in this for over 20 years, I have seen more mainstream adoption, more larger enterprise customers moving in this space than I ever have in the entire time that I've been working in this space. And again, as we take a look at what the analysts are talking about in terms of growth in spending, kind of moving forward, not only in IoT software, but technology, services, and stuff, everything is very hockey stick, in up to the right. And again, if we even take that even further down and say, let's look specifically at IoT, and the definition thereof of IoT can be very, very difficult to pinpoint. Like what is an IoT application versus what is not. As an example, I would say if you look at your phone and you're going to a pub or to a coffee shop and you use your phone to give you direction, is that an IoT application? Some people would say yes, some people would say no. I say the fact that we're actually collecting information, we're processing it, we're taking an action, and we're providing business insight. To me, that itself resonates as a IoT application. So the spend, the growth of some of this stuff, and we're going to see growth in this industry, unlike any other industries that we're currently seeing today. Next slide, please. So, when we take a look at a lot of this, like people would say, like, where are we seeing the majority of adoption? In a couple of places that I would say very, very near and dear, obviously in the automotive space is one. We see it in industrial automation and control. We see it in home automation, and really on the forefront right now and really burning really fast is the whole notion of artificial intelligence. And as we take a look at a lot of the things that this company is working on, I would point to one really, really strong example right now in terms of industrial automation and control, and also home automation, would be Carrier. Carrier is one of the companies that we have a number of major projects going with. Carrier, for those that don't know here on the call, is a HVAC company. They sell air conditioners, heaters, boilers, pumps, et cetera, that sit on top of buildings or on your side of your home that heat and cool your building. Very much a traditional metal bending product company. They are now moving through digital transformation into a services industry. And this is one of the things that I see as one of the most interesting, is that when product companies move from being product centric, where they sell you a piece of hardware, to a product and services company where there's actually a service as. And Carrier, in this case, is looking to generate over 1.2 or 1.5 billion dollars in services in the coming years. That's an amazing transformation for somebody that just sold the hardware product to moving into services. And they're doing this for a number of reasons, operational efficiency, and to the delight of their customers, and to differentiate themselves, from their competitors and really kind of move forward. As we look at some of the players, in the space, is interesting that, we as a company have very, very strong relationships in the partner community. And we'll talk about that a little bit more with, AWS as a cloud provider, Microsoft Azure, Ollie, and others. And it is interesting that while AWS dominates the Internet of Things space, there's still a lot of work going on with Microsoft and Allie. And we do get requests from time to time to work with our customers, to work with various, cloud vendors. So again, as you think about it as a company, the opportunity that presents itself to, the folks that are here on the call, really nice opportunity to learn and be involved with some of the best cloud companies in the world, as also as part as leading some of the coolest, transformation projects, kind of on the planet going on today. Next slide. So, again, as we look across the globe, right, this is not, and again, I'm speaking on a North American side here, but again, this transformation is happening all over the globe as we have dealings in some of the stuff that we're doing, kind of growing a little bit of our work in China, working with Ollie. Again, Carrier's trying to do some work there with us over there. Germany, very, very heavy industrial, leading in the manufacturing revolution, the industrial revolution, right? There's pockets in that region of the world where, again, we have expertise, we have people, we're winning nice deals with, really good clients like Daimler, and others out there, and in working with large, new enterprise customers like Deal and others to really kind of help their transformation. Also along the partner community, the work that we're doing with Infineon are on the anomaly detection and the HVAC remote monitoring kit, are just signs of where these pockets are happening. But it's suffice to say that, as a company, we're seeing growth all over the world. And quite frankly, as the company evolves and progresses, you can see us opening new offices, to meet the needs and demands of where our customers are. Next slide.
Yeah, and probably I'll jump in here. And as we see growth across all of the IoT industries, what is interesting to see is how after the pandemic, many companies look at stats and adjust their projections, but IoT projections are being adjusted upwards. Looking at this slide, and all the projections in billions of dollars, we're looking from 20 to 21 to 22, all the way up to 25, with a sustained growth of at least 25%, 27% across multiple verticals, and significant verticals are represented in IoT services and IoT software, with security, of course, with IoT hardware, but this is where our company shines. This is where we have most of our expertise, specifically focused on IoT software and IoT services. And of course, there are trends. And we wanted to highlight three main trends here. As Joseph mentioned, the number of installed IoT devices worldwide. In 2015, 2016, at the beginning of this, the curve was relatively flat. It was growing, of course. It has been growing for a while, but starting 2 years ago, it really took off. And as of today, as you can see, the projection is to get to almost 75 billion devices by 2025. Of course, every year it will be adjusted, but we see tremendous growth those devices drive. Every connected device is a connected device to the cloud. Every connected device produces data, it sends data. It requires someone or something to collect the data, manage it, understand it, and then make decisions. Next one, we can talk about specific challenges. Of course, there are no industry without challenges. And some of the challenges you see here are highlighted specifically as they relate to IoT. And the one main challenge, that developers are rushing IoT products to market which are not secured. I'm sure we've all heard horror stories of open ports, unsecure devices, malware, and security will take one of the leading seats in driving the IoT adoption, strong security. Companies want to benefit from IoT data, and ability to properly manage and analyze and then make decisions takes another leading seat. And this is where we're growing our expertise. And of course, IoT products, again, should be secured and protected from attacks. And specifically, as Joseph mentioned, from North American perspective, Americans are reluctant to update their firmware. I'm sure all of us kind of rolled our eyes and said, well, here's another update. What do I need to do? How do I proceed with it? And in some cases, those updates make things even worse. And of course, areas of the world which are removed from specific connectivity which benefits IoT devices, become more and more distanced from the main adoption and main evolution in the world of IoT. And of course, what are the benefits of IoT? What are the perceived, expected, and actual benefits of IoT? As you can see here, there are four groups in which people and companies expect IoT to benefit their day-to-day life and day-to-day work. Of course, executives in companies expect IoT to be critical to their growth. And right now we're talking about all of the industries, from wearables to automotive to industrial to healthcare, smart agriculture, or smart homes. Retailers all of a sudden realize that IoT can help them to customize their service and make our visits to actual physical stores much more tolerable. In US, if we look at the US as a main market where IoT is growing, as you can see, cities are starting to invest in smart cities and smart living spaces more and more and more. And that includes smart apartments, homes, transportation, air quality, early fire detection, and so on, to make cities more comfortable for people who live there. And of course, if we look at the healthcare industry, which is historically slow to adopt IoT, but will move their accelerate its move to the IoT world. A lot of executives in the healthcare industry will look at IoT and expect significant savings and new services.
So Gennadiy, if I could on this one, maybe just to kind of add a little bit, there's a compelling theme when you take a look at all of this stuff, right? Really what this all comes down to is improving quality of life. in many different ways. And let's think about this currently today, right? We all enjoy, today using Uber when back in the day, a taxi was the only way. For those of us on the phone here with gray hair and maybe lack of hair, albums were something that we used to listen to music. Streaming is all the rage today, right? And every one of those changes, I mean, Airbnb, and I could go on and on and on and on. I mean, Netflix streaming content. I could go on and on about all of this. But at the end of the day, it's all about delighting people and changing these customer, satisfaction. And one of the things that I would say that we do as a company is that we help evolve all of these industries to create a much better experience. We develop disruptive technology to help customers move in ways they never thought. And again, when you think about things that you can tell your friends when they ask you what you do, you can say you're an embedded software developer or a hardware developer or whatever else. Or you could say, hey, I was part of this project, and LUCI is one of our projects that we did in terms of helping improve the quality of people that are less fortunate, that are kind of relegated to a wheelchair, to kind of improve their quality of life. And again, or maybe a retail experience that's talked about here. It's like, how do you try an omni-channel experience where what I'm looking on at the web versus when I walk in the store, they know who I am, they know what I've been looking at, they can serve me better. Tell your friends these are the sorts of things that you're working on that's improving quality of life for everybody on the planet. I think that's a pretty cool statement, and it kind of highlights the type of work that we're doing.
Thank you, Joseph. I think it's not only a testament to what we do, but actually call it a street test or a bar test. We're talking to someone, you can really point your finger at an actual device, actual development, actual product, which made someone's lives better. And kind of with that in mind, we wanted to actually share with you some of our success stories, real world examples of making people's lives better, making someone actually appreciate what they do, what they have, improving the manufacturing, kind of moving IoT forward. And the first example I would like to highlight is our work with a company called Infineon. And you can read more about Infineon, go to their website, go to our portfolio, read multiple case studies we have. But it all started 2 years ago and led to multiple public appearances, multiple conferences, bringing the actual product to market. And here we've compiled a few pages to showcase how successful we've been working with this company as one of our partners. So one screen, second screen listing kind of all of the appearances, not just by company executives, but by actual team which worked on this project, and presenting at different conferences, presenting at different events, the product we developed together over this 2-year period. Actually, the family of products, multiple iterations of a predictive maintenance and monitoring system based on Infineon's sensors, Infineon's MCUs, and Amazon's AWS services. And our CTO has been presenting and actually featured at AWS Partnership TV, working with Infineon. That video recording is available. You can go and watch it for yourself. You can go to our portfolio section of the site, download case studies, trace your fingers through the architecture, and see how it would work for you if you would be the part of the team. But the recognition of this development, which actually helps buildings or industrial facilities monitor their equipment and predict failures, the recognition culminated in a lot of press, lots of kind of publicity, and highlighting our collaboration, which eventually led to multiple case studies available and listing the kit we jointly developed with Infineon on Amazon's website in their registered devices catalog. This is a very significant achievement because there are not too many companies in the world which could say that the successful collaboration culminated in not only a very large amount of publicity, positive publicity, but in an actual device being available, certified, and endorsed by a company like Amazon.
Yeah, again,
Joseph,
sorry,
yeah.
sorry for interruption. So I would like to say thank you to Pavel and the team and all guys who participated in this project. So thank you for making it real. So guys,
Yes,
if you
virtual
hear,
applause, guys. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it. I mean, we haven't done such a compilation before, but we wanted to bring it to a larger public forum and highlight. I mean, looking at kind of going backwards a little bit, looking at everything here, especially as a press, it's a very, very significant achievement. So thank you.
Yeah, I think I'd like to add, to this in that, again, talking about how these sorts of things differentiate us as a company. One is that we are working and collaborating with leading partners in the space, right? In the semiconductor space, Infineon is a recognized leader worldwide. Obviously, AWS doesn't require any, advanced, accolades in terms of obviously their position. But then also taking stuff like this that we create with our partners, we ideate on it, we provide them, the underlying hardware, software, and services, and then help them drive this technology to customers like Carrier, like Train, like Lennox, and others. It really shows the value that a partner like Klika Tech can do. And again, as coming out of AWS, managing all of the partners in the IoT community, there is only a very, very, very small number of partners that can do the type of work that Klika Tech does. Everything from sensors, embedded, connectivity stacks, cloud, application, mobile development, and managed services. We're in a very, very unique position. And I think it provides everybody here, on the call, an opportunity to work in areas that you have expertise in, but also allows you an amazing growth opportunity to also expand into other areas that maybe you don't have as much expertise. Say, hypothetically, you're a very, very strong embedded developer engineer, but you want to sharpen your cloud services. Working at a place like at Klika Tech, allows you to not only do the embedded work, but also, further, develop your skills to do other things. So I think it's an amazing story. And again, it just shows how we are working with leading companies to create meaningful solutions that are driving disruptive industry.
Thank you, Joseph. Next example is actually something life-changing. The company is called LUCI, and working with LUCI, we help them to build a much better and smarter wheelchair. This wheelchair is for people with cerebral palsy, people who previously were confined to an old school, not so user-friendly, very difficult to operate wheelchairs, and there's no innovation around it around the world. What we've done, we literally helped the company to change lives of many people, starting from two children of company's founder. That's why he embarked on this mission, and we feel very lucky and fortunate and honored to be working with LUCI's team. So LUCI is one of the most highly publicized, one of the most highly talked about projects. Over the last 2 years, what you can see here, what we've done with LUCI gathered significant amount of public attention, and it's rare to see one company highlighted by Time Magazine, by CES, Popular Science, to be named 10 best inventions from 2020, Fast Company, South by Southwest, and it's not a complete list. So as Val said, I would like to start by thanking the LUCI's team, people who contributed their passions, their knowledge, and say that this is a phenomenal example of how working together with companies like Intel, with AWS, with LUCI's team, we're really helping people to change lives. And as Joseph mentioned, being part of this team is something you can truly enjoy.
thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Taking this a step further, again, when I say that companies been highly noted by the press, those are all the names of publications and news clippings who've talked about the company. If we would do something bad or it wouldn't be good enough to be highlighted, I doubt that respected publications from Time Magazine to Forbes to Mobility and Billboard would talk about it. So we're very proud to be able to deliver. Again, if you'd like to go to our portfolio section, download a case study, and imagine working on this project, we're open to questions. We're open to sit down with anyone who is interested and talk about it and actually talk about our continued collaboration. It's not over yet. We're continuing working with a company. We're growing with a company. Here's the actual case study I'm talking about and quotes from company's CTO. As Joseph mentioned, we co-create, we co-develop. It's not just a specification which you follow. It is something you co-create with companies we work with. Next example is from a different industry. It's an industry which helps all of us to live better. A company called Quext. We work with Quext to co-create a platform for smarter apartments. And it's not just yet another smart building or smart home platform. The idea behind it is, first of all, many components of this platform are engineered from scratch. For example, smart thermostat, you can see the black device in the upper right corner. This thermostat talks to other sensors around the apartment and then talks to a central station in the cloud using LoRa protocol. So we started with a traditional LoRa, and then working with AWS, we moved towards AWS IoT Core for LoRaWAN, a brand new development where we are one of the few leading companies working with the actual platform, actual client, to bring them to the cloud, to bring them to market using this platform from AWS. Again, we co-developed this. We worked with the development team from Quext very, very closely, presented different occasions, presented webinars. Both of us were highlighted as companies working together. And the relationship we have with Quext, I would say it's simply phenomenal. Personally, I visited them a number of times. We're waiting for them to visit our development offices. And the relationship of a true partnership. Our teams really enjoy working together. And again, thank you for this phenomenal development. Quext team, if you're on a line, you can put pluses and minuses in the chat. You can put exclamation points. But thank you for your talent and for your contribution. As you can see, again, this development is not just went unnoticed, but it has been nominated and received some of the significant awards. Smart City Innovation Award, winner of the Fierce Wireless IoT Challenge 2020. It was highlighted in CRN IoT. So it is another example of a very interesting project which continues to grow. It's not over yet. We're not talking about projects which were done and forgotten, moved to the support phase. Those are projects which we call continued development, continued support, and innovation. And continued innovation, continued co-creation is a critical element of our work with various companies.
Yes, if one thing I could, add with some of this, as you look at the different use cases, again, I always kind of think about these sorts of stuff in terms of like, what does it mean for me, or what does it mean for, the audience, obviously. And, when I look at this, as Gennadiy went through these, you could clearly see in the HVAC, like some of the leading edge technologies that are currently being used in the world today, doing anomaly detection, doing machine learning, artificial intelligence. Um, it's leveraging a lot of those technologies where companies don't have that expertise today. Again, opportunity for you to grow within your careers. We look at like, with LUCI, a lot of, I mean, we didn't go through all the detail in terms of the leading edge technologies that were used there. And then with, Quext here, again, the first ones to really kind of deploy on using the LoRaWAN service from AWS. So AWS every year releases, hundreds of different services, and here you are at a company that has the ability to leverage all this new technology to drive leading edge, disruption within the industry. And I think these are the hallmarks, of really, really great companies that provide this sort of opportunity, for the employees to learn and use technology in new and creative ways. So I think it's pretty cool in terms of some of the things, like I said, that we're doing here.
Yeah, thank you, Joseph. Again, speaking about different technologies, I think we have access to latest and greatest working with AWS, Azure, and Alibaba. Everything from deeply embedded in different architectures to different RTOSes to different edge devices. We have a very large hardware lab. I mean, recently, we even went through the inventory of that lab and discovered we have hundreds and hundreds of different devices and sensors and boards. So that gives us an opportunity to truly go end to end, to look at the hardware part of it and firmware and edge devices and cloud, and have access, due to our partnerships, have access to latest and greatest things which are not on the market yet, helping them come to market and bringing them to market together with our partners. So as we go through these use cases and success stories, the question is, who are we? And for those who already been working with us, you'll probably, heard me and all of us talk about it many, many times. But who is Klika Tech? Are we mainstream enough? When we talked about IoT being mainstream, is our company mainstream? Over the last 8 years, we became a true international leader when it comes to IoT. We work with many leading brands. We have phenomenal partnership ecosystem. And as of today, with our locations and headquarter in States and offices in Miami, New York, we have multiple offices in Europe and Central Asia with Minsk, Berlin, Wrocław, and Almaty, from where we support many clients around the world. As Joseph mentioned, we do think about opening additional offices to be closer to our partners, to be closer to our customers, and find the best talent we can bring in to work on more and more innovative projects. As of today, we've assembled a phenomenal team. We are an ISO 9001 and ISO 27001 certified company. We have, as I mentioned, multiple offices, and we truly work across the entire spectrum, end to end, from hardware to firmware to cloud to big data and machine learning. We are very proud to be one of few IoT focused partners of AWS. We are advanced tier consulting partner, we're IoT competency partner, we're IoT migration partner, industrial innovation partner, and have multiple accolades as IoT core launch partner, API gateway, Lambda cloud formation. We've been awarded a number of industry awards and recognitions. You can see them on the screen, but we're very proud that many more awards and recognitions were given to our customers. That's the ultimate thank you from the industry, that the ultimate recognition were not just a company being awarded, but the work done by the company. The product actually brought to market is being recognized and awarded. So I wanted to say thank you to the entire team of Klika Tech for working on those products, working on those collaborations with our customers, and contributing, helping them to get those awards. Thank you. Next, if you look at one slide which would describe what we do and who we are, I think that's one of the best slides, where we start working with our customers from discovery to co-creation. We help them to realize what needs to be done and help them find the market niche, prototyping different POCs, different MVPs, and then developing, bringing to market, and continually supporting them and innovating going forward. When we work with companies, our work is focused on creating a long-term relationship where truly we are part of their teams. And we almost never, or pretty much I would say never, work with companies who treat us not like we're a partner, not like we're part of their development team, or simply want to throw the specification over the fence and say, guys, look at it and get back to us when you're done. We don't work like that. We work in a specialized world. We're highly focused, and we have experience, as I mentioned, over the last 8 years, focusing on IoT, cloud, and big data gave us an opportunity to have significant experience. And we very often repeat the quote from Amazon's AWS CTO there is no compression algorithm for experience. You cannot take 10, 15, 20, 30 years of experience and compress it into 1 year of learning. Simply doesn't work, especially in an industry such as IoT. Here's another contributing factor to our success, our partnership ecosystem. Joseph, I would ask you to please talk about it because you lead this segment. I would appreciate your thought here.
Yeah. So, what I would say, where IoT is a little bit different to maybe some of the other industries out there. And again, IoT is a horizontal, right? IoT solves problems in healthcare, industrial manufacturing, whatever. But where I was going with that is that there is not a single company in the world that can deliver a full end-to-end solution in IoT. We like to always say it takes an army of friends with which to do it. And one of the things that we've seen as being critical to our success is aligning ourselves to the industry leaders, those companies that have the technology and services that can help drive innovation, that themselves are going through a digital transformation process of their own. Example would be when a product needs cellular communications. It would be very, very not a good idea to say, yeah, we want to go ahead and build this ourselves. We're going to buy tower, we're going to buy spectrum, we're going to do all this sort of stuff. We recognize that we need to point our customers to the best, mobile network operators or, network virtual operators to help them solve these specific problems that they don't have domain expertise. And again, it varies from our customers, what they're very, very good at and others. And one thing that I think we do exceptionally well is with our partners and our customers is ask them to focus on what is it you're really good at, and then what are the things that you need help with. And the things that they need help with are things that we can help with, but then also enabling them in terms of connecting with a lot of these industry leading companies to showcase their technology and how this technology will help accelerate their journey into the marketplace. And I'll say this is that if you don't have a healthy partnership community, healthy partnership relationships that are two-way, this just doesn't work. And I think, again, we've taken a smaller set of partners, focusing on very, very highly on those and building those partnerships long-term. And I think it's paying dividends for us kind of moving forward.
Yes, thank you. Very often partners come to us and ask for help to build things internally for them, to build things to bring the new developments to market. And they trust us enough to recommend and refer to their clients. So again, ultimate thank you to our focus, our expertise, and ability to deliver things. So with this, we conclude the presentation and open to Q&A to answer your questions, to tell you more. Hopefully there are questions. Fire away.
Gennadiy,
yes.
I have one question about Infineon project. You said that Klika implemented some predictive maintenance system. Can you please tell a bit more about it, how it works and what it can predict and how it can predict it? Could you please tell a bit more about it? Thank you.
Sure. Based on my knowledge and understanding of this, the first generation of our platform developed with Infineon used the SageMaker algorithm called Cut Forest. We've used existing model to collect data from various sensors and then processing abnormalities in readings, identify specific problems with HVAC equipment. Right now, I believe we have two different ways of doing it using AWS IoT Analytics and AWS SageMaker. And our team works right now on the TinyML model to work actually not even in the cloud, but inside the actual Infineon's MCU. But again, if there are any more technical questions, I'll be happy to connect you with the team working on this so we can have a much more detailed conversation.
Thank you, Gennadiy. Some processing on the MCU itself, it sounds fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I take Sergey's question, please? Everybody's on the table. Everybody who's an innovator, a mover, and a shaker is certainly on our radar. When Alan wants to have a cup of coffee with us and talk about how we can help his company, I'm more than happy to formulate that partnership. So thank you for the question, Sergey.
I would add that actually Elon just signed a contract with the city of Miami, where we're headquartered, to build a tunnel using one of his companies, a boring company. So it's quite plausible that one day we're going to sit down and talk how we can help Elon get to the moon or Mars.
Looks like there's a question, Gennadiy. Is there a chance we will see an IoT product specifically from Klika Tech in the future? I think that's a great question.
It's a great question. I think there is a chance. We're actually internally brainstorming some of the areas where we can contribute and create our own products. Actually, one of the things we started to work on is highlighted on our website called DNA, Digital Native Apartment Platform, which we're going to, or right now offering to our clients as a customizable set of components to create connected smart spaces. I cannot say it's fully kind of advertisable or fully shrink wrapped product from Klika, but it is our intellectual property, which we use in discussions with various clients to help them accelerate building their platforms.
Yeah, I would call it not like complete consumer-based products or something like this. It's more like accelerators, reference codes. So yeah, just to be clear here,
You can call it a solution accelerator. It is definitely not a B2C product. It is much more of a B2B product to help customers move forward faster.
Yeah.
So from the gentleman who asked the question, is there any ideas and thoughts that you have with respect to based on things that you see within the marketplace that might be a suggestion or any ideas and thoughts that maybe you want to share?
Lap don't shy.
No, so any ideas what products we could develop?
I would just wanted to say that I think we, as every developer in Klika Tech, we will be extremely positively engaged in making something like this. So anything we could do, we could help with.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. As we're approaching the top of the hour, anyone else?
Yeah. Yeah, I see that we have in the room most of our people, teammates. So maybe anyone who is not a part of our company, who came just to get know more about company. Maybe you guys have any questions about the company, projects we are doing. So yeah, you are welcome to ask questions. So please do not hesitate.
Our opinion, how long we're going to face shortages of components for in semiconductor industry. The latest we've heard, at least from different industry sources, is that it could last for another year to year and a half. Many components are back ordered by 3, 4, 6, in many cases 6 months, even more than a year, depending on how popular those components are. As you know, SSMC, I mean the leading semiconductor companies, Taiwan Semiconductor Company and Intel are building new fabs, but that is not going to help for another 3 to 4 years. So realistically, everyone agrees right now that we're going to face at least another year of component shortages.
Now, the thing that I would say with respect to that, as we are working with customers, dealing with component shortages, again, the value of the partnership community that we have comes into play. We're working with the 2 largest global electronic distribution companies in the world, Arrow Electronics and Avnet, both of them providing componentry to the industry. So as you guys are working on various things, if you need help in terms of identifying lead times on components specifically, we can certainly reach out to our contacts in that community to kind of help you in terms of providing options, like what could be the possible lead times between trade-offs and specific processors, processor families, high performance analog, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Thank you, Joseph.
I could take that one. Coming out
Yeah.
of the so the question is, who are our competitors? And one of the things that I said earlier, as I was running the partner ecosystem at AWS, I had the opportunity to onboard over 350 different partner types. Some are silicon partners, some are ISVs, some are network connectivity, some are security, operating system. In the space that we're in, there is indirect competition, I would say, from a lot of the larger tier one systems integrators like the Accentures, Deloittes, the Tatas, the Tech Mahindras, whatever, who have seen the opportunity in IoT and are trying to pivot very, very quickly. But the fact remains that many of them don't want to develop and work, on the hardware itself, typically north of the gateway. So would I say they're direct competitors? No, but as a systems integrator or consulting, they would be. We see other partners. I'll pick a couple in the U.S. Annika was one that I would say who was just recently purchased by Rackspace. But it's interesting in that scenario that with a couple different customers that they had been working on during the time of acquisition, the partner has kind of pivoted a little bit in terms of support and has provided opportunity for us. Generally, though, I would say there's not a lot of people that I'm aware of across the world that do everything from sensors, the embedded, the firmware, the cloud, the mobile application, and the managed services. We are in a very, very unique position. And doing that provides us a very, very unique insight to help our customers when they want to securely connect embedded devices to the cloud, because we understand both sides of the OT side, the operational technology, as well as the information technology. What it takes to securely connect a device at scale to the cloud. But then the opposite is, how do you manage that device and those devices over the life cycle of that product? Because we understand the IT side in terms of managing, embedded devices in the field. So while, there are people out there that tout to be a one-stop shop, many of them fall very, very short of what we do. So I think, again, it puts us in a very unique position as we start to brand and market the company more. We are highlighting this more and more, clearly articulating our value. And, you guys all see this, companies will talk their one-stop shop. And if you sell gateways, and that's all you sell, I could be a one-stop shop, but I only do one little portion of this. So, we're always, again, a page out of the AWS playbook is we can't look at what our competitors are necessarily doing. We have to do what our customers are asking us to do and delight our customers. That's where we need to spend the time and focus. But, we're always looking out there in terms of, who we're competing with, who we're winning against, who maybe we're not, maybe if we do not win opportunities, maybe why it isn't the case. Some of it is geographic, some of it could be just regional. There's various reasons. So I hope that answers the question.
From your experience, what is the most fast-growing IoT vertical? I would not single out the one vertical. I would say that as of today, industrial and process monitoring, sensing and control probably is the broadest vertical. Then we have connected spaces, connected home, apartment, building, office. And then there are two with healthcare and smart agriculture. So the first one on the industrial side, being extremely broad, could include even partially automotive, because there are many developments in industrial forklifts, for example, and autonomous cars and so on. So stacking them, industrial, automotive, connected spaces, smart agriculture, healthcare.
So there was a question. Yeah, go ahead, Gennadiy.
Yes, thank you. Field of medicine. Perhaps there are successfully implemented projects to make medicine more accessible to people. Very, very interesting question, because, for example, LUCI, we think of LUCI, we just talked about, is a project in the world of healthcare and medicine. And we are actually working on a very interesting project, making medicine, making pharmaceuticals available to people, making them more trackable. Cannot say the name, but if you work at our company, you would know it. But again, we're very, very busy working on this project using one of the latest technologies from AWS. I can say it's technology called the Sidewalk, but it's actually going great. So again, if you're interested, reach out directly to me and we can discuss this project.
And we got a new one here yesterday from a
Yep.
company that was in the pharma
Actually,
space.
yeah. You know, again, we have another, actually two potential projects directly related to medical devices. Again, going through that right now as we do in this presentation. Another question regarding our R&D department: what are the customer challenges that were currently being explored? Uh, I would say we have a lot of requests and not enough time. There's never enough time. So challenges is to focus and deliver a proposal, deliver an estimate, get all the requirements in time. It's a good problem to have where you have more requests from very interesting, reputable companies or partners, potential customers, that you have to ask, what do we prioritize? It's definitely not boring.
Yeah, and I think further maybe asking in a more details your question. So yeah, unfortunately, yeah, guys, right now working on a many trendy technologies and approaches right now. But yeah, since it's an open meeting, we can't reveal all the innovations they are working right now. But if you're interested to know more about our experiments, please come to Mike and ask him. He'll tell you in more details what current innovations or technologies we are exploring. So, but yeah, I unfortunately we can't go in a deeper details since it's an open meeting and we have
Right.
external audience right now.
Thank you, Val. Another question is about frequently used and favorite communication protocols. Setting Wi-Fi aside, which is not used often in specific Wi-Fi, let's say device-to-device communications, I would say Bluetooth, the latest one was 5.2 with direction finding, latest Bluetooth versions, and more narrowband IoT, LTE, Cat-M. Those two would be probably most commonly talked about and favorite to address many potential problems.
I would say, with respect to that, I mean, one thing that, we definitely understand, and again, is a positive attribute of the company is that we are protocol and technology agnostic. We have to work with what our customers ask us to work with, with that through the customer obsession. And Gennadiy kind of tied off on a few of those, but also, like some of these leading edge technologies. Gennadiy mentioned, Sidewalk, a new service that you guys have probably seen a lot of press on from AWS. We're smack dab in the middle of creating a pretty cool product using that technology. So, while today there's certain today's darlings that a lot of customers use, we certainly we're not challenged to also be looking at new and innovative technologies kind of moving forward. So.
NB-IoT versus LTE-M, who will win in the long-term perspective?
He's going to make some investments, I think. Where we can't be given financial advice.
Exactly. We're not in a position, not certified financial advisors, but actually I can email you some of the discussions. The projections is that narrowband IoT will have more devices connected using this technology because it's more spectrum frequency efficient and it finds more applications and it's cheaper to deploy. It has a lower battery consumption than LTE-M.
Thank you,
Great question.
Joseph. Thank you. Thank you, Gennadiy.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Cheers.